So I believe this is session 23 this week. Who wants to talk about session 22?
The whole adventure of getting to the 60th floor.
Getting into the building and then up to the 60th floor.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like we were in the lobby forever, which, is on brand, I think.
Yeah. When there's when there's lots of people to interact with, we tend to just interact with them.
Yeah. We went through, Thalderin went in and posed to the concierge that was looking for, he wanted to scout out apartment prices as a guise to get in. He stepped through the kind of metal, it wasn't one, but through this kind of stone archway that if you went in it, that they could do detect thoughts, or they could they could cast detect thoughts, and I think sense magical items on you. And he stepped past it, and they told him to get back, and they wouldn't only converse with him while he was in the stone archway. Uh, we weren't able to. It was not easy to get around it unless without being seen, unless they were distracted. So
Which we tried to distract, it didn't help, but
yeah,
I
at some
mean,
point we
right,
I think
Elsa was able to slip by. He just wasn't able to get all the way to the stairwell, and
yeah.
so had to trick one of the guards into just letting him go.
Yeah, he remembered that he had a pass,
Right, one of the lift tokens.
a lift token to the 30th floor. There was a gang of reporters before that. I think Elzen pushed them forward so that they would ask questions to kind of create a distraction. Um, Thalderin shoved them back to make it appear like he was helping, acting part security, um, which gave him some street cred. We eventually just exhausted him,
maybe.
exhausted the concierge, where he just like let us go through.
Well, yeah, I mean, so this was more Elson. You managed to talk your way through by saying that you had a friend in the building on the 30th floor who gave you the token, Joran Horn. And so you went up to the 30th floor and then came back down and
Right.
said, Joran said everybody can come in. And at that point, Thalderin had so exhausted the concierge Thalderin and then like the gaggle of reporters and everything else going on. Like he just wanted to end the disturbance and go and have a peaceful night again.
Yeah.
So he relented and let you guys go up to the 30th floor.
Yeah, because he wanted to call Joran Horn. Joran
Right,
Horn.
he did, but he was convinced to just, let you guys go.
So we went up to the 30th floor, and then took the stairwell, which was like this, kind of winding stair, helix, single helix type deal. And there were a number of traps, I believe, along the way. We made
Right,
it,
most of which you bypassed until near the end when you failed on a few checks.
yeah. And then an alarm went off.
An alarm went off, and then there was like a trap that gave off like a very loud thunderclap.
Yeah. And then when we got to the 60th floor, there was private security there. They said stay in the stairwell. We were like, no, there are people here. They're dangerous. They're like, we don't care. You're safe. And I think we ended up fighting them anyway
Yes.
because when in doubt,
Well, we needed to get up there.
yeah.
So
Uh,
we saved as many people as we could.
Right.
and
So
then
you knocked out two of those guards. The third one was, beaten up. Then Pebble set him on fire, like rhyme fire. Pebble put out the fire. Uh, he might still be alive, but he's partially frostburned.
Jesus.
Uh, you would imagine he's probably alive, but he is definitely unconscious. And then after that, the lift had activated near the end of the fight, and four Warforged building security came up. You put two of those guys to sleep by knocking them out, and then Pebble threw two of them down the elevator shaft, uh, possibly to their deaths. Who knows? You didn't see them hit or like hear a crash, but it was 60 floors down if they fell the whole way. And then towards the end of that fight, two of the Warforged, the last two, realized that they were losing the fight. So one of them began to sabotage the lift itself, the binding runes that hold the air elemental that runs the lift, that powered the lift in. You then rendered him unconscious, but the second remaining Warforged, as his last act before he got pushed into the well of the lift, he managed to disable the runes. So an air elemental is now swirling over what used to be the lift and looking angry and wild.
What what would Elzen know about Arab elementals in the sense that would he have any indication of whether or not this air elemental is like kind of beyond our capabilities?
Um, Give me. So there's sort of different information you would get. You could give anybody who's trained in Arcana or history can probably get different information. History will get you sort of more how tough are they kind of information.
Interestingly enough, Pebble's trained in history. Maybe he has some myths and legends passed down through the tribes of the Frostfell.
I am not trained in either of those things, but I'll
Well, I
try.
have both, technically.
I mean, you could do both then.
Nice.
So Elsa doesn't know much about them. You know that they are. So what you're seeing right now, this semi-humanoid form that has sort of formed in the middle of this airwell that seems to be made of just the water vapor of the chilled air around it and just a swirling vortex of wind that has sort of vaguely taken on this translucent man-like shape. You know that the creature itself is more like an impulse that is giving form to this air and this vapor that you're seeing, so that you can't truly kill it, and it's questionable whether or not it's really alive. They have a certain kind of life, but they're a very different sort of life form than physical beings. They know that they come from another plane. You wouldn't know how tough they are based on your role. Thaldarin, you would know a bit more, and you would know they're not necessarily beyond you, but they can be dangerous.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, it is risky for you to fight them at your current level, given the stories that you've heard, because you've heard of them taking out multiple people at once
Right,
they're released, especially when they're released in this kind of context, because when they're released, when they were bound and released, they're usually pretty pissed off that they were bound.
right.
They did not choose to be bound and operate a lift forever. You also know that eventually this thing will probably dissipate and go back to whatever plane it was originally from, but not like within a minute.
Right.
So it's going to wreak havoc while it's here before eventually the energy disperses and it crosses back into its home plane.
Um, okay. I was like, well, I don't think we can wait this one out. We have to find cover, take it out.
So
Uh,
technically, we're still in rounds from last time, and it's Lee's turn.
Can't remember if I think I was raging. I can't remember if I was.
So
You definitely were.
Okay.
yeah.
if you weren't raging, then I was raging on your behalf.
Hmm. Uh, well, it's right next to me, isn't it? I would assume.
Yeah, you're adjacent to it.
So I can use can I use disengage action to move away from it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, and I'm gonna move over here and use this dude and get between me and have this guy between me and him.
That guy's on the ground.
Yeah, he's prone.
That's fine. He's still between me and it.
Mhm.
Okay, is that all you're doing?
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. It is going to move here, and it is going to. You see the winds begin to pick up to something approaching hurricane strength. And these two guys on the ground, I have to move back so I can get to these two guys. But these two guys on the ground are going to be flung in a random direction. So, it's not letting me do that. This guy's being flung in this direction. He's going to wind up impacting with the stairs. And this guy, he is flung directly back.
So, what can we actually see of this thing? Because I mean, air is invisible.
Right. So what you're seeing is normally air is invisible, but you do see a disturbance, a lot of which looks like mist, like fog that's swirling in the wind. But you can see in the midst of this fog, it is sort of taken on a vaguely humanoid form. It's hovering over the well of the lift. Um, but yeah, you can physically see it. A little bit like I imagine uh, Avatar: The Last Airbender's little air scooter,
Yeah.
but vaguely man-shaped. So that's its turn. And you can clearly see these two guys are now dying. They're bleeding out. And it's Pebble's turn.
I trained my whole life for this. I'm gonna punch the air to death. uh, so he will move and attempt to strike it with his trident. Uh, well, let's see. Is there anything else I want to do? Okay, yeah, I'll just try and hit it. My trident and see how that goes. It goes well.
Yep, you definitely hit. So roll to confirm. That confirms. So roll percentile dice.
So 84. He's poisoned.
So he can't be poisoned. He's immune to that condition. So roll again.
He's
Don't
still
don't roll.
Really
poisoned.
Yeah.
wanted to
So,
really
You
wanted to
sure?
The dice really want this guy to be poisoned.
Double check that stat block, make sure it's still there. Or
fine. Somehow the air is poisoned.
I hit the air so hard I poisoned it. I made the air sick.
and now we're all getting it.
Oh, there's the perfect thing. The green question mark. It's
Do
poisoned?
it's confused as what is the sensation?
it. That's excellent.
So what was your damage? I didn't look.
It was 18, 22 damage, 4 cold and 18. Uh, we'll say that's still cold damage. So it'll be all cold damage.
Okay, so you connect with something as your kick or your trident pierces into it. You can hear the winds howl almost like they're in pain as it reels back where you stabbed it, but it doesn't look any weaker than it was before.
Okay. Um, and then let's see. I'll use martial arts to do a bonus unarmed strike, and I assume that passes right through.
Uh, yes, that misses. Hard to hit the air.
Yep, but apparently can still make it sick.
Yes. Is there anything else you're doing?
No, that's it.
All right. Up next is Elzin, then Thalder, and then Lee again.
Alzin's going to does he looks around, does Lee Falder and her Pebble look hurt at all?
No,
Not very.
Nope.
I'm at full hit points.
Uh Elzin he puts his hand on the ground and pulls up Hysterius Angus, and he uses it to focus uh a Eldritch Blast at it. Guess I should do blast. And then I get an extra, I think it's 2d10.
Yeah, 2d10.
Yeah. So 16 damage.
Yep. So the what does the Eldritch Blast look like when you use it?
Uh, it's infused with Eberron, so it would be It would be kind of like a deep red fire, similar to the kind of the Eberron dragon shard that is made out of the pendant around my neck. So it kind
Okay,
of
so you watch as this blast of force colored like fire begins to swirl around inside the vortex that is this creature, and it again reels back. Anything else you're doing?
he's gonna move to this corner.
So
As far away from
Thaldrin,
that hole as I can get.
Thaldrin, you're up.
Um, I guess I'll step over this guy to have a swing. Can't wait to get extra attack. All right, here we go.
That hits.
Nice. What did I roll here? It's a four. Okay, got it. Let me check the wording on this ability. Okay, yeah, that's what I should still be able to do this. I'll uh I'll hit him with the other end on with the bonus action then.
Hmm. That misses.
Okay. Um I guess I have to hit it, don't I? All right. That's it from me.
It also didn't roll damage. I don't know if it was supposed to.
No, I didn't hit the damage on that one. I have the spear set up on the sheet here in roll 20 because it doesn't do the right damage die on the other sheet.
Hmm.
So that's it.
Okay. So before Lee goes, you all recognize in an instant that you feel something begin to touch your minds, and you've sort of felt something very similar before in that Elzin has the ability to connect with you all telepathically, and you clearly feel the fingers of someone snaking their way into your mind as a voice begins to coalesce and speak to you. It seems as if, in this instance, it seems as if your perception of time is slowing as everything begins to move slower, as this message begins to pervade your consciousness. The single instant of time expands, allowing you to sort of perceive what's going on around you in crystal clarity. And although it's just one instant, you realize that you probably can't respond or move because you yourself are also slowing down, even though your perception of time is expanding. This voice suddenly begins to speak to you, and you definitely feel a presence. You're not sure how to describe it. It feels very different than Elzen, possibly just because it's a different species than Elzen the Halfling. And I don't know how much experience you each would have with telepathy, but it definitely feels very different from Elzen and a little more alien. As the voice says, there is not going to be time enough for you to speak, but I have a message to convey. You speak with Lascavordiacs, and like you, I have an interest in Heloise Troon. I have formulated a plan to pierce her security, which in my case involved posing as her servant. I tell you this, I know that she is not who she appears to be, though my efforts have not uncovered her true nature as of yet. Unfortunately, your own efforts here have been somewhat clumsy, and all of her guardians, my current companions, are assembled on the far side of this door, ready for you to enter, ready to strike. In a moment's time, they'll be inside the safety of a tiny hut, which will block the door, possibly preventing you from opening it. Even if it doesn't fully block the door, you'll have to squeeze in and expose yourself to their attacks. So if you breach the door, they will be able to attack you and you won't be able to even see them, let alone fight back. I do have an offer for you, though. We can help each other to uncover Heloise Trude's secrets, but you will have to leave or else you will be killed or captured here. I don't imagine there's been enough time for the Sharn watch to assemble outside, but you can be assured that they will be here shortly. I will find you, but you should leave now. If you want to take my offer, go back into the stairwell and climb to the roof. The access word is Ashtalan. That will open the hatch to take you to the roof. I assume you have some means of escaping via flight and that you didn't plan to simply run out of the base of the building. If that
No
was your
way.
plan, if that was your plan, you should leave now, as Sean's watch will be here shortly. I can deal with things if you've killed any of these people, and we can vanquish the air elemental once you run away. Money will probably shut the mouths of the Warforged and guards. It will be Heloise Troon's money, and so there's some irony there. It's up to you. If you breach these walls, then I expect you to die. And I imagine then that would be a lost opportunity for me. And the feeling begins to fade from your mind as time returns to normal again. And it's Lee's turn.
Hmm.
Aldrin just looks over, looks around at everybody. Fuck.
Do you hear that? He Elzin whispers to the crystals in your head.
Getting there, elemental.
Yeah, I heard. I don't really know what he was saying though. They're not big woods.
Looks at Lee. Go.
He was
All
safe.
right. I'm gonna move to the stairwell. And does it go all the way up, or do I have to go to the elevator side?
Um, it seems to end. You can see there are marks on the wall where the stairwell ends.
Okay. If I use the magic word, does anything open?
As you say the word Ashtalan, you see uh, rungs begin to emerge from the wall that leads up to a hatch in the ceiling.
Okay. I will go up unless I can fly.
Yeah, you could just fly.
Okay.
So you fly up. The hatch seems to be unlocked, and you're on the roof of the complex.
Okay. And bonus action, I will continue my rage. So,
Okay. The air elemental, uh, it's going after Pebble. Pebble heard it. Elzin heard it, but Elzin's way over there.
Fair.
Yeah,
First
that is
round.
not
Miss.
gonna that is not gonna hit. It has, however, moved into your space.
Yep.
Uh, it can do that again. Nope.
Miss.
This for third edition, Pebble would have gotten an opportunity attack.
So that's its turn. Pebble, it's your turn. The air is raging around you at the moment, though it's not pushing you from the spot. You've just
Ah,
watched Lee disappear into the stairwell.
Yeah, are we running? Are we running?
Yes. Let's get
Okay,
out of here.
I'll hold it off.
No, go ahead.
And he's gonna attack it.
That's a miss.
And a bonus action attack.
Also a miss.
Yeah.
So are you moving or are you staying where you are?
No, I'm staying where I am.
Elzin.
Well, Elzen gonna run. Let's see, how far could he get?
So technically, yeah, you have to make it to here in order to access the stairwell again.
I think, yeah, he could, it's
To
like
go around, right?
25 feet to get to this point. But then if he could use his action, he uses the action to dash to go up it as far as he could, near uh
Yeah, you can make it about halfway up the ladder.
okay. That's what he'll do.
Thaldrin.
Um, I take a couple steps here. Um, I think I go ahead and roll to try and hit it right quick. Dang.
Yeah, that misses.
Um, we'll try the bonus
Right.
action then. I just gotta hit it. So if I could just fucking do that. God damn it. It's fine. I gotta wait for Elson to get the rest of the way.
Okay. Lee, are you doing anything on the roof?
Just take a look around to see if there are any guards or anything up here, and then if not, I will help anybody trying to get out.
Okay. Yeah, no, the roof there's nobody on the roof.
Okay.
Uh, the air elemental still gonna go after Pebble
Yeah,
since he didn't get hit.
it's a miss. It's a miss.
24?
It's at disadvantage.
Oh, you're right. He's poisoned. How long is he poisoned? I forgot about that.
What did it say?
Uh, at the end
I'll
of each
find
turn, he
it.
can do a DC 20 con save to try and end it.
Let me see if he made his con save for last time. Probably not. Oh,
Uh, oh.
so that was a 20 and a 24 then.
Okay. Okay, so wait. Minus 15. Okay.
Air's fighting back, Pebs. Come on.
But that's its turn. So it's Pebble's turn.
Okay. I am going to.
I don't know if Pebble would react to Baldwin giving him a nickname or not, but
What did you call him?
Pebs.
Pebs.
Come on, Pebs.
I like that. Um,
It would be funny if Pebble was like, "Don't call me that."
Not my name.
Pebs, it turns out, is a very rude word in Pengal.
So I am going to spend a Kai point for patient defense. Uh, and then I'm going to take one last shot at it before I go.
That hits.
All right. And I'm going to go with the cold and piercing damage. And then I'm going to move. So how much movement I have? 35. So this is where the shaft is?
Yes.
Okay. So it's 20 feet. And we got to go up.
Yes. And it's about 30 feet up. So you would be on top of Elzen, so just behind Elzen.
Yeah.
Are there stairs?
So once the command word was spoken, rungs appeared in the wall. So it is essentially a ladder.
Okay. So then I can get well, is that half speed or is that full speed climbing up the ladder?
You could climb the ladder at full speed.
Okay, so then I can get 15 feet up or as far as I can behind Elzen.
Right. So you're essentially 10 feet up, and you just have like the nervous leg movement of the last 5 feet because Elzen's in your way.
Uh, and then let's see. These are interesting icons. Okay, I'll use that one for patient defense. And that's my turn.
Elzen,
Elson being a bottleneck. Oh, there we go. Uh, Elson being a bottleneck, going to continue going up to the rooftop.
so it only takes you about 15 feet of movement to get up and out onto the roof. It's a little bit of a drizzle going on outside, and there's a bit of a wind on top of the roof, but otherwise it's deserted. It's just you and Lee. You're because you're in the middle of the building, all you see around you is essentially you don't even see the skyline of Sharn because this is one of the tallest buildings. In the far distance, you can see other towers that are probably about equally as tall. High above you, you could see the various flying islands of the Skyway and the glittering towers on that, at least at the edges of the Skyway Islands.
He looks up and then looks over at Lee. Well, guess we'll get going shortly. And he'll like pull out his feather token and not activate it yet, but get ready to use it. And that'll be his turn.
Thaldrin.
So Pebble is still.
Pebble is still on the ladder. He's 10 feet up the 30-foot ladder.
Um, I don't mind. So my launch is a bonus action. I wanted to like wait until Pebble was all the way up. Um, I mean, I guess it's whatever. We should be all right. Um, oh yeah, I guess I can disengage. So I'll disengage. And then I can see the ladder rungs.
Yes, you can see them.
I will use my third launch this rest to get myself up there as high as I can. It might get me just above, maybe a little above. Uh,
How high can you jump? I don't
I
remember.
guess I can move first here. Even I could jump 30 feet straight up.
Okay, then you could make it to the top of the ladder right below the hatch.
Delightful.
I don't
Um,
remember if anybody's seen you jump quite that far before. And technically, only
maybe.
Pebble has this time.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Pebble's even looking at me right now as I do the jump, but then I just like shoot straight up past you and right up to the hatch and sort of like climb through and like reach a hand down to help Pebble through.
Ow.
So, Lee, I assume you're not doing anything on the roof other than helping people get through.
Correct.
Keep your
Uh,
rage going, or
Yeah, bonus action. Yeah.
so the air elemental is going to give chase. It can squeeze through the man-sized doorway, and it's pretty quick. So it is going to go after Pebble again since he's the only one in here.
Mm-hmm.
No, that didn't recharge. So it's not going to throw you. It's going to try to slam into you.
Miss. Miss.
So that's its turn. Why are those misses?
Because I used patient defense, so I'm
Yeah, yeah, right.
dodging.
Yep.
And I'm glad because that would have brought me down to dead.
I'm imagining Pebble's patient defense is more like wearing down their offense by like, oh, what's that? Oh,
yeah, it's just the old rope-a-dope, right?
So you can, so
Wait,
Thaldrin
who's
in
the dope in
particular,
that one?
yeah, more dope a dope.
Yeah.
Thaldrin, you can see that the air elemental is chasing Pebble. Uh, I don't know, and probably Lee can as well as you look down this hatch. Um, Pebble, I assume, climbs up the rest of the way since it's his turn, but he might want to take an attack before he climbs the rest of the way.
My hands reached out.
Let's see. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna use I'm gonna disengage uh is there a door at the top of this
There's a
shaft?
hatch that
There's
is
a hatch.
open at the moment.
Okay, but it can be closed. Okay. So, yeah, he's definitely gonna do a parting shot then. So he's gonna use a bonus action to disengage and then take a shot with his trident
That's a hit.
and then climb up the rest of the way.
So if you climb up, it will get an opportunity attack.
I disengaged.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't hear that part. I was looking at something. Okay. So yeah, you make it out through the hatch.
I'm feeling woozy. and you can see two massive lumps forming under Pebble's feathers.
Close that. Because is that hatch like airtight? Like,
Um,
We'll find
so
out.
right, so an air elemental can't get through any size space. Like there are limits. The real question, so it couldn't just squeeze its way through the hatch because there's not like an inch gap for it to get through. Uh, but the real question is the hatch going to hold if the air elemental attacks it? Right now, as far as you can tell, you don't see a lock.
right.
Is anybody trained in Arcana?
Well, yeah, technically because of Molly.
Okay, then yeah, you can roll an Arcana check. So you're not 100% sure, or Molly's not 100% sure, but he thinks that it's at least possible that if you say that command word again, the ladder will disappear and the door will lock as long as it's closed. Although he points out it could actually be like two command words. I don't know.
Right. I mean, we're all through, right?
Yes.
Do we get the hatch closed?
You push the hatch closed. Yes.
All right. I'll just say Ash Talon.
So there's no visible reaction, but
Got it.
when you pull on the hatch, it doesn't seem like it's opening again.
To start.
And, and with that, we can come out of rounds. There is a banging on the hatch, but it doesn't immediately burst open. You
Um,
are on the roof with an angry elemental banging at the hatch beneath you.
is there anything up here?
Not really. Like there are little sort of peaks and valleys to the roof. You can see there were what appear to be like air vents with coverings on them, but there's no like rooms or features up here.
Gotcha. Um, I mean, wherever seems to be the closest um, edge of the building, I'll just start running towards that.
So you start running. That is mostly towards the back end of the building, but you make your way to the edge, and then down below you can see the skyline of Sharn stretched out.
Um, how far down?
That's about 600 feet to the base of the tower.
Okay, that's a pretty. I mean, it sounds like it is a long fall, obviously, but
Right.
it'll be over real fast if we don't use the tokens. Everybody got their token?
Do I have a token?
Pretty sure we all do.
Yeah, we should have all been given one.
I mean, I know I had them, but do I still have? Okay, I have two.
That would be pretty funny. Especially if it was Pebble who didn't have a token, because Pebble might just be like, okay, and jump off.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, but if anybody could pull it off, it'd be Pebble because he would just like bounce like a rubber ball down there.
If I was only a little bit higher level, I could just run down the wall.
um,
So you jump off the edge of the building, and your feather tokens immediately engage, lowering you safely to the ground below. at ground level, everything seems perfectly normal. I mean, it's reasonably late at night, and on this side of the building, you don't notice any activity at all. There is a large metal security door on the building behind you, um, but there's no like window on it to see what's going on inside. This side of the building doesn't seem to have windows on it. It leads onto sort of back alley paths among the towers, but there doesn't seem to be anybody in these alleys at the moment.
Let's just start moving
Yeah.
until we find another landmark we recognize.
So you are able to, you don't really run into anybody until you get back onto one of the main thoroughfares in Upper North Edge. You quickly move between various towers in Upper North Edge, and you realize that you are essentially in the clear. Unless you know, if you want to circle back to see what's going on at Oak Bridge Towers, you could do that. But
Um,
you don't encounter anyone as you make your way to the neighboring towers.
no, you don't return to the scene of the crime so soon.
I no. We should head back to I'm blanking on the name of where we're staying.
The Watchman's Rest.
We should head back to the Watchman's Rest.
And the sooner we get out of it, the better for her. We might end up drawing a lot of heat on ourselves, and we don't want to bring that back to her.
Well, we'll just have to trust that whatever whatever uh this thing, this being that spoke to us is being genuine and able to help cover our tracks.
So you make your way
Um,
back to the Watchman's Rest. It is pushing midnight, so it is now the morning of SAR, the Eberron Saturday. The place seems pretty lively for, you know, it's only about midnight, but there are a lot of people who are drinking in the bar area.
nice. Uh, Thaldrin will go get changed and join in a little bit of the festivities, probably. Assuming there is any sort of inner group socializing going on.
Yeah, there's plenty of people who seem to be there to have a good time. Mostly just drinking and talking, but
Right. Thaldrin would go. He would probably go have some drinks, but he would probably really wants to just listen, and just get a sense because obviously this is a very different time. So what people talk about is going to be completely different than what we would have talked about. So
right.
I just want to hear what people are talking about.
So a lot of people, you know, there are people who are like flirting, hoping to pick up people, like normal bar things. You also, a lot of people are there sort of complaining. I guess the thing that would be most likely that Thalderin would notice is that people here complain about often more trivial things than you're used to hearing. Because a lot of people are on the verge of like starvation in Shosharn because for various reasons you get denied the right to get food for various infractions, or your
Mm,
rations get cut, or the amount of water that your tower gets has been cut, and so you're not getting enough water. Whereas these people are, you know, dealing with rude customers who made their days go badly, and you know their meals are perfectly adequate, but you know not as good as they might have otherwise hoped. Their jobs suck, but they do have jobs.
Right.
There's still, however, yeah, some people still have the normal complaints about crime. People still die. But for the most part, you find that these people probably have pretty cushy lives relative to what you're used to, at least of people of this sort of social class.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
do notice it's not exactly like bottom of the barrel, like super poor people, but they're not the upper class people who stay at Oak Towers, definitely.
Right.
These are all like working class people here.
People with proper steady jobs that they're probably not going to like lose unless they really fuck up, sort of
Right.
thing. Um,
At some point, somebody tries to touch one of the clocks, and Tick comes running out with a broom and starts hitting their hand. So what's everybody else doing?
Elzen will come down for a drink too. Um, he would listen in for a bit. Um, does it seem like any of them are playing? Are there any games or is there a bard playing?
So no, there's no music in the Watchman's Rest Tavern. There are a couple of people playing a game called Dragon that you would probably be familiar with. It is essentially a card game where you're trying to build up each side, each card has like different values, and you're trying to build up an army of dragons, a flight of dragons, as it's called. But it is a multi-person game, and you could see people in one corner are playing it.
He goes over, says, Dragon, do you have room for another?
Make me a persuasion check. You get advantage if you pull out coins because they're better
Now,
than this.
advantage ain't gonna help with that roll.
Uh, this we're in the middle of a round here. Maybe if you come back later, once this session is over.
Well, very well. Thank you. And he just kind of awkwardly stands there for a moment with the sting of rejection and then moves over back to the nurse's drink.
just imagining the fucking Charlie Brown just like head hung down.
Well, there's still yet a chance.
I mean, eventually, though, if you wanted to play the game, eventually they will end the current round. It is a long-ish game. It takes a while to resolve a game of Dragon, so it's not exactly like poker. Um, but they would let you sit in on a hand.
Yeah.
The ante though is a gold.
Oh, I think Elzen could spare a gold. Yeah,
So
he
are
would play her hand.
so I assume you're not proficient with the Dragon game, but make me an intelligence check.
Yep. Just gave away
Let's
that gold.
let me see how well the other people do. So roll me a d6. So after a couple rounds, you have to make another bet based on, the hidden portion of your army. You don't think you have a strong hand.
Is folding an option in this game?
Yeah, you're allowed to fold, but
Uh,
just, you're pretty sure you would lose if you stay in the game.
I surrender.
That's the wrong term.
That's how they say where he comes from.
So they poke some fun at you because you got knocked out pretty early.
Uh,
By rights, two of them actually did worse than you, but they're staying in the game to just play it through.
well, I tried. It was, I thought it would be a bit of a diversion. Thank
So
you.
your flight of dragons is divided up among the other players as they continue playing the game.
I'll walk back. Walk back. Is Thaldrin still there?
Yeah, probably. Back again?
Turns out I can speak the Chronic, but I'm no good at dragons.
I see.
Those are apparently very separate skill sets. But alas, they've they've swiped me. They have won a gold off me.
Well, you can always get more. I mean, you could stay there, chat,
No, they just seemed like
get
they wanted to play.
get to learn the game better. Can't get better unless you play it.
Yeah, maybe I'll find a dragon club or something.
That'll be a difficult thing because, like, which one are you gonna get?
Which dragon?
Yeah.
I was thinking of going building a red dragon deck. But we'll see.
Yeah, I guess one of the things you would have noticed is they seem to have like a more or less pristine deck of cards. It has in Shoshard, it has probably been a long time since anybody sat down to make a deck of cards. So you would have been dealing with like decks that have been cobbled together, uh, and various of them marked, and people sometimes memorize which cards are in which decks by how messed up the cards are. So,
Maybe
but the
that's
night
why you
ends.
maybe that's why you had a hard time. You weren't used to having clean cards.
It's it's likely. It's it's
You
not my
know,
strong suit.
I suppose
Um,
mending doesn't fix that, huh?
Oh, so mending can often fix these things, but um, people don't all necessarily have access to mending, and
Yeah.
sometimes cards over time cards get lost.
Yeah.
Uh, And so, you replace them with something else. I mean, the good thing about Dragon as a game doesn't rely on a 52 card deck. It usually relies on an 84 card deck. And even if you lose some of the cards, that may adjust the odds of whether or not you're able to build a successful army in some ways, but or flight of dragons in some ways, but you don't necessarily need a 100% complete deck to play the game.
Hmm.
It just means certain strategies may wind up being statistically a little bit worse for you than others as you try to build up your flight of dragons.
Makes sense.
So, but the night ends and you guys return back to your room. Pretty early the next morning, you hear a banging on your door, rousing you all from your sleep.
Could be for anybody.
Right. There are five of you in the room, but it's banging on your door.
Is there is there
I thought we had the. Yeah. Yeah, you're
I
right.
was asked, is there room under the bed? Is like is there a space to crawl under it?
Uh, yes, there's a space underneath your bed.
Elson is gonna roll off the bed and then roll under the bed and like pull out Hysterius Angus and kind of be ready.
Does the room have a window?
Yes, there is a window.
Okay. Well, since I was up anyway, I will go to the door.
Oh, you can hear on the other side screaming is Tick. Open this fucking door right now.
Oh my God.
What's wrong? Are you in danger?
Open the door.
I listen to see if it's just her or if she is with a bunch of other people.
Make me a perception check. You're
Hmm.
pretty you're pretty sure there must be somebody else out there given all the racket as she bangs on this door.
Right. So there's no way I'm opening it. Because I'm pretty sure, because at least Lee's thinking that, Pebble was in the paper and probably told everybody where we are and where to find us. So I've been fully expecting this.
One of the
Right.
papers
So
did come out
right. So
and
there
mention it.
you haven't seen I sent the papers to you before because I wanted to give you a chance to read them and because it amused me to write them. But you haven't your characters haven't seen the papers yet.
Right.
Oh, we didn't see the paper that Pebble saved the. Okay,
Right.
okay, gotcha.
Because
Okay.
because technically that was also last night.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, Pebble was talking to them, so Lee would have figured he would have told them everything.
He did kind of blurt out everything.
Right.
Everything Pebble knows at least.
Uh, mm, so do you want me to spike the door and we go out the window?
What? No, it's not necessary. Tell them to get up. I got it. I'll get it.
Okay. So if the door opens in, I will open the door and stand behind it.
You see a little halfling arm comes through, flailing, trying to hit you. What did you do?
What do you
This
mean?
is this is supposed to be. She's like hitting Lee's arm as hard as she can.
I just
Uh,
like I just put my arm. What do you need? What is going on?
this is supposed to be a refuge where people from the Watch come when they don't want to be noticed.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's a bunch of reporters swarming in my bar downstairs, waiting to see His Lordship King Pebble.
Listen, if if he could be
You would like to come
controlled,
see me?
if
Pebble
he could
runs
be
out the door.
controlled, oh my, yeah. Pebble, no talking, no talking, no talking.
Spin move, patient defense.
If he could be controlled, he wouldn't have ran out the room just now. I'm sorry, Jake. I've been trying. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of your hair. I don't want this to happen, but it's happening. I'm sorry.
Well, apparently you guys made all the papers, especially Pebble,
He's pretty
and
popular,
the
yes.
and the papers have indicated that this is where you're staying. Let me go check
Yep.
on my dog for a second. He's fine. I'm not sure what he was barking at. But you see, Tick reaches in and hands you a copy of the Sharn Inquisitive.
Right.
It's
That's
in
the
multiple papers now because there's reporters from at least two different places downstairs. It'll probably be in the Korenberg Chronicle next.
um the hell is
Well,
that?
I mean, access to Pebble does come at a price, a cost, obviously. I mean, it may, buy a drink or two. I mean, who knows?
The hell was uh that one reporter's name? Thought I had it written down. I can't find it though.
Raw.
So,
Well,
right, Ralph Arthur was the first reporter you met.
Yeah.
that's the one I was thinking of,
Uh,
yeah.
and he did get a credit in the story in the Sharn Expositor, but or sorry, the Sharn Inquisitive, but he apparently didn't write it. A different reporter, Dahlan Forengal, wrote it.
Right.
Yeah, and then the other guy you met and got a name for was Tamar Brightbane. He was from the Inquirer.
Um just gotta find out where I can write
Just
this.
go downstairs and tell them that Pebble will be available at a particular time. And, once that they have sufficiently had a few drinks and eaten some of the food. And
Oh,
of
Pebble
course,
already
a
ran
certain,
out.
Pebble's gone.
oh my God.
The minute that Tick said people are outside asking for Pebble, he immediately ran.
You know, I tried. I told him no talking. He said Uno reverse. Uh,
So is Pebble running downstairs or somewhere else?
No, he's running to wherever the people are.
So yeah, you run downstairs. There's not like as many people in the bar area as there was last night, but there are several people who are gathered around who all immediately like stand up and turn when they see Pebble emerge down the stairwell as they begin shouting questions to you about your saving the life of Heloise Shroon.
So, Pebble, as he runs down the stairs and sees everybody, he immediately goes, "Hi guys!" And
One of the
then,
reporters says, Mr. Pebble, we hear you lost your crown. Can you give us some of the background on that story?
oh yeah, so I was riding this giant dog. It was so cool. Well, it might have been small. I don't remember if I was small or it was big, but and then there were bubbles. The bubbles were so cool too. We got to fly around in the bubbles, and there was a tent, and there was a big spiky like door thing, and then there was this real clown and people on long legs and an elephant. I got to ride an elephant, and then they gave me a crown, and I was like, yeah, these are cool. And then we did some other stuff, and a guy died, but then he wasn't dead. And then there was this other thing, and they were shooting at us, and this person was really mad, but I dodged and dodged and dodged. They couldn't hit me. But it was really sad. So I was like, hey, you can have my crown. She didn't really want the crown, but I gave it to her anyways.
Yeah. So as you say this, they are exchanging glances. Uh, Not sure what's any of these details mean. Pebble doesn't know the word, but one of them sort of turns to the other and says in a questioning tone some long word that sounded like Febblemind as he asks. The other guy looks back and mouths the word and just like does like this. Uh, but Mr. Pebble, how did you lose your crown?
I gave it to her.
So you voluntarily surrendered the crown.
I don't. I gave it. I don't know what you're saying. I gave the crown because she was sad. She didn't want the crown. I don't get why it's a cool crown. It have magic.
So do you miss being king now that you've abdicated? Do you regret your decision to give up the crown?
Um, what?
When you gave up the crown, do you wish you could go back in and reclaim your crown?
I mean, if I still had it, it'd be pretty cool because it could do that thing where people glow, and I kind of glowed too, and it was very comfortable seeing on my head. It felt real nice because sometimes because the metal would get kind of weird and kind of be weird with my feathers in a way that was really nice and felt good. So I missed that.
And they furiously scribble notes. You get questions about how many elephants there are in the Frostville.
Oh, oh, in the Frostville? Oh, there's no elephant. It's a giant mammoth. Well, there were. They always skinked because of the the fog. The fog that the monsters was in.
Where, tell us about this fog.
Oh yeah, it was like all around, and you couldn't go in it because it would make you feel sick, and there were monsters in there, and they would want to eat you and kill you, and sometimes people would get pulled into the cloud, and it was not good. And so, a lot of things just don't they didn't really make it out. And that was one of the things that I think but before I left, there might have been one left.
Tick comes marching down the stairs and taps you on the shoulder and tells you, Pebble, go upstairs and talk to your friends. All of you people, get out of my bar. You're no longer welcome here. This is not a press briefing room. If Pebble wants to talk to you, he will come outside.
Oh, I want to talk to them. I'm gonna go outside.
And then she looks at you and says, I really think Thaldarin needs you.
Uh, well, if Dally needs me, I'm gonna go get that. I'll be right back, guys.
I imagine they hear they have to go outside and they're like, "Aw," but they slowly turn and walk towards the door.
Kicking a little bucket.
See, this is a good thing about Pebble. He says everything, but he doesn't know exactly how things went and the details that he does remember.
It just takes one person to recognize anything. One person.
Well, but now they know that it's King Pebble the Mastodon rider. So she ushers them out the door. Pebble goes up to talk to Thaldarin. Thaldarin didn't ask her to send him up.
Right.
Hey, Dally, you needed me for something?
Sure did, buddy.
What's up?
All right. Just right quick. Can you sit on that bed over there?
Yeah.
And he goes and he hops on the bed.
All right. I go like underneath the bed for a second. I don't do anything. I tap on the floor. Yeah, that's what I thought. And I come back out and I was like, all right, I need you to sit there for I don't know how long yet. But the bed wants to try and run away, but it's gonna stay there if you sit on it. Okay?
This bed is alive.
I think it might be.
All of our life, did we sleep on living beds?
No, not that one. Just this one. All right. So I need you to sit there. It's going to try and run away. We don't have a bed to sleep on.
Wow.
All right.
Pebble begins whispering to the bed, trying to communicate to it.
and also petting it, being like, "It's okay, it's okay."
I gotta go. I gotta go see if I can find something for it. We gotta because we need it to stay, right?
I have to fight the urge to make that bed a mimic.
Spontaneously. This is how they're born.
Yeah, they're
A
born
pebble
from
believes hard enough.
Thalderin's random comments. It's like a beholder. Thalderin just wishes them into existence.
Yep. Yeah, shit. And then I'll just like look to Elzin and Liam like, all right, guys, let's go have a look. Wait right there.
Okay,
Let us know if it talks to you.
okay.
I'll just leave.
Alison
So
follows. So what does why are we deceiving Pebble?
Just for a moment. Just trying to see if it works.
You know it will only work once.
No, I think I got this. I think I figured it out.
Laris sort of stands guard at the door to the room in case Pebble gets off the bed.
All right.
And Lee, you could see on the copy of the Sharn Inquisitive that Tick gave you, there is one of the headlines on the story is about Pebbles intervening in whatever assault there was against Heloise Droon.
Yeah.
So the story sort of goes into the details. She didn't give you the sort of more fanciful one, but it does mention that there is some talk about him being a king in the Frostfell. And they apparently managed to find his friend Rowan, who shared with him that you guys were staying at the Watchman's Rest.
See, it wasn't Pebble that leaked that. I just said it was a clock lady.
So what are we going to talk with the reporters or
No, we're going to have to stay somewhere else.
And Tick comes up to you and says, "You absolutely should not have your friend Pebble talking to those reporters.
It's very difficult. We need. I'm gonna see if I can get them to fucking leave if they're still here.
They are still here because Pebble said he would meet them all outside after he talked to you."
Got it. I just walk down. I just continue walking.
Can't you just explain to Pebble that it would be bad for you all for him to talk to them and that he shouldn't talk to reporters?
no? I mean, what I
Go.
mean,
Let her try.
you can
Yeah.
try.
Why don't you just take down all the clocks here in the place?
That would be exceptionally bad, especially for
Okay.
people like you.
Okay. Well, that's like trying to tell Pebble to do something we don't want him to do.
He is his
Fine,
own.
I'll go talk to Pebble. She marches underneath the legs of Layreth and into the room.
She co- she comes in. She comes in to see. Wait, could you guys hear me when I? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, that's weird.
We could hear you when you were talking to Lisa too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're not muting properly or what.
The
Or it's
button
not going
is
through the
not
mic.
working. It seems. That's awkward. Okay. Um. So, she walks in to see Pebble, caressing the bed and trying to convince it to move just a little, just to know that it's still alive.
Are you drunk again?
I haven't drunk anything. I am thirsty though.
Well, never mind that for now. Pebble, you need to understand something about all those reporters, the guys you were speaking to downstairs.
Huh?
They might act like they're your friends, but actually, they just want to get information that would hurt all of your other friends. You don't want to hurt your friends, do you?
No. But if I make new friends, and if they're my new friends, then they won't want to hurt my friends because we'll all be friends.
See, that's the thing. They don't really deep down, well, they don't dislike you, but they don't really want to be your friends. They make their livings, they earn money by telling other people's stories in newspapers. And she picks up one of the old newspapers that Lee would had been reading. This thing, these words here are just stories that people tell. And they want to take your stories and put them into these little symbols in the newspaper, in this kind of thing. But your
I
other
should have put my
friends,
story on the leaves.
this is what they do for to earn their money and to buy their food. But the problem is if they learn about your story, then Thaldarin and Lee and Elzin and Professor Bareth, all of them will get in trouble
But why would they get in trouble if it's my story?
because your story and their story are very similar. And there are things about that story that these reporters just shouldn't know, that shouldn't be just common knowledge that people read about in newspapers like this.
But I don't get it. Like, stories are good. Stories are what we tell around the fire, and it's how we pass down all of all of the things that are the people who came before us. They all said and did.
And maybe someday your story will be passed down that way. But these people will, first of all, they'll often lie about the details of the story. They'll take a little bit of your story and then add a lot of their own details to it to make all of you people look bad.
But that's how stories are. They always change when you tell them.
That's true. But in this case, that would hurt all of your friends.
I don't get it.
Alzin is watching from the doorway, just kind of snickering.
Yeah. Anybody who's not watching, you just hear the sound of the smack as her hand comes up and collides with her head. Just trust me on this, Pebble. You don't want to talk to these reporters because if you do, it's going to hurt Elzin and Thaldarin and Lee. Maybe in the future there will be a time to talk to them and make friends with the reporters, but now is not that time. There's too much going on, and everybody in the future could be hurt if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time to a reporter. You don't want to hurt everybody in the future, right? You don't want to hurt your family and the
No,
shepherds.
but I want to make friends. And how can you make friends if you don't tell them your stories?
Just make friends with somebody who's not a reporter.
But how do I
All,
know they're not a purporter?
well, that's a fair
What's a
point, but
purporter?
a reporter is somebody who makes these, and she shakes the newspaper. All
What's
of those
that?
people,
Oh, those
this
are
is
the leaves. Those are
right.
leaves. The magic
These are
leaves.
these are not magical. I think they're made using magic, but they're just pieces of the paper with stuff squiggles on them.
Yeah, but then how did they hold my stories?
Because if you're like other people, then you can look at the squiggles, and each squiggle can be a word. And so I can look at the squiggles and I see words.
Yeah,
I
that's
could tell you,
magic.
Well, then to you, I can see why this might be magic, but the rest of us call it writing.
Magic writing. Okay.
Just anybody who you think might be working for a newspaper, including all of the people you just talked to, don't talk to them. And if you have any doubt, ask Thalderin or Elzin or Lee.
But what if I
Or
forget?
you could just ask them. Most of them will tell you if they are reporters. Just ask, "Are you a reporter?" And if you do, there is a magic word to make them go away, which is no comment. You say no comment, and then you don't say anything else to them, and they will leave you alone.
Yeah, but what if I ask if they're a purporter and they tell me no, but they're really a purporter?
Well, if you really wanted them as a friend, would they lie to you?
I don't know. You tell me maybe they shouldn't be my friends, so maybe they're not good people. But how do I know if they're not good people if I don't talk to them? It's your my choice and you're their choice.
All I'm saying is that
Pebble's got to learn the art of the small talk.
don't talk to the people downstairs, or at least make sure that Thalder and Elzin or Lee are with you so that you don't say something that's going to make them upset.
Okay.
She takes the win, turns and leaves.
Elzen standing there expectantly. So
She looks at you and says, I am not sure he got all the nuances. In fact, I'm sure he didn't, but maybe he won't talk to the people outside now. It's as much as we can hope for. Tomorrow, who knows?
Speaking of the people outside, that's where Thaldrin was going.
Right. So you make it outside and you
I
see
I would
they
have
don't,
grabbed my new spear, my new old spear, I guess,
right.
and brought it with me as well. Um, I don't think I've put armor on yet, so I'm just like wearing clothes. But I have the spear, and then I step outside,
Can you
and
guys hear
just
me now?
yep.
Yes.
Um, is it obvious where they are? Are they standing close? What's
Yeah,
their deal?
they're all exceptionally close to the door, and they all look up expectantly and then see that it's you, and are like, and go back to what they were doing, scribbling notes down about their prior conversation.
And I'm just like, time to leave. Get on out.
Uh, we're waiting to talk to Pebble. Pebble is
No,
going
you're
to
not.
come out and address the press pool here.
You're not waiting. Get.
We are on a
I
public
s- I
sidewalk.
did not stutter, and I like put the spear into the ground. I'm gonna make. I'm hoping I can trigger the thundering effect.
Yeah, you can. So there is a loud clap of thunder. Give me an intimidation check with advantage. You know, there is one brave one does step up and says, "You have no right to," and you plant the spear again, and there's a second clap of thunder, which silences him. And they all begin to back away. You see they begin to disperse.
I'll walk down the stragglers, the slow walkers. Come on, get moving.
Poking at them with the spear.
Slap their ass. Come on, get a little pep in that step.
So you are able to chase them off.
I come back inside. Tick, a drink for the road, I think.
So yeah, Tick is still upstairs talking to Elzin. You do see there is a copy of the Sharn Expositor version of the story on one of the tables.
I just grab it.
Oh,
Bring it
sorry, no,
up.
no, not the Sharn Expositor. The Breland Inquirer is
Even
the other
worse,
one.
I will take it too. It at least doesn't have our location, does it? I still don't want it all around. I'll grab it.
So you make your way back upstairs,
Yeah.
where you see Tick and Elzin are talking.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, goddamn.
Yep.
Yep.
So in the midst of your guys' conversation, I guess there were some thunderclaps outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I think something's going on downstairs.
It's fine. I'm here.
Ah,
That's true. From their perspective, they don't, maybe you're in a fight. They
That's
just hear
true.
the spear.
That's true. That was two thunderclaps. Did he level up? Can't fully attack.
so I suppose we will need to figure out an um, alternative lodgings.
You have any recommendations? Looking to tick.
No, you guys pretty much will have to stay here. If you're going to stay put in any one place for any real length of time, you need to take precautions.
Hmm. I mean, we were trying to get out of here so that we would stop drawing any attention here.
Uh,
Is there not a better place or a maybe slightly lesser place? But
you're you're aware of your situation, right? It's only a matter of time, unless you find a place with the proper wards. Only a matter of time before something or someone comes for you.
I was not directly aware of that,
Uh,
but
well, then I
like,
have some bad news. But unless you are properly warded, which is a little bit involved, eventually if you stand still for too long, inevitably, and I use that word specifically, there are creatures that will come for you. Creatures that defend the flow of time.
I see.
ah, what do these creatures look like?
There's all different kinds of them, so it's a little bit hard to say, but they're referred to as the inevitables. Part of their purview is to defend time as they think it is supposed to exist.
How does one ward against inevitability?
Well, in my case, I have about 10,000 enchanted clocks that are precisely set to misdirect them so that they won't come here. So that they can't even really detect that you're here, at least in as much as I can understand the magic. Oh, we
That's
lost Mike.
that is very clever.
No.
Pebble can't talk to the reporters. Mike doesn't even want to play.
That is incredibly clever.
Well, you'll have to talk to Professor Boreth, as he's the one who helped me set this up. My understanding is he's trying to come up with some sort of permanent lodging for you guys. Part of the difficulty of that is, in addition to the fact you guys don't have papers, so you can't really buy property. By rights, I shouldn't even have let you stay here. Oh, there he is again. Because ordinarily, at least to stay at any formal member of the Hostiliers Guild, I should have to check your IDs. But yeah, he would set up wards that will also throw off any inevitable who might pick up your scent and begin to hunt you. You're new.
Oh,
I don't know how long it will take before one of them gets its claws into you, but eventually it, like I said, seems to be inevitable.
Hmm.
how long has somebody
Mm,
avoided them before that you've seen,
I mean,
that you've noticed?
far as I know, pref there are people who've never encountered one. If you were completely unwarded and just sitting in one spot, usually within a month or two, an inevitable will appear. And once they find you, they don't give up. It may take them a while to catch up with you again. At least the stories are that they can't be killed.
Well,
They
that
can
would
be
make sense.
avoided.
Hmm.
Hmm.
This is good to know.
yeah, thanks for the pick me up. Any other good news you got?
She just stares at you, her eyes narrow. Smartass.
Yeah.
It's okay. Every group needs a smartass. We appreciate you, Lee.
Yeah, yeah. She turns and goes back downstairs.
I appreciate you too, Tick. What's on our agenda today, boys? Oh wait, hold on. And then
Well, Pebble has a bed. He's got
I
a
know,
guard.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, hold on, give me a second. And I sort of go underneath the bed again. I like shake it. Oh, there it went. All right, there we go. You can get up now, Pebble. And I come out.
Okay, I think the headphones are working again.
Yes.
Yep.
We can hear
Wait,
you.
what? Why can't I get off the bed?
It's
Yep,
it
yep.
won't
Now
want
it's
to. I had to
now
figure
it's
out
even
how to do it.
more tempting to have
Yep.
the bed be a mimic and just start to eat Thoughter under the bed.
But the bed just moved. I've been asking to move this whole time. He's
And it did.
finally
Nice.
listening to me. He's opening up to me.
That might be it. I bet he's tired though. He just moved. Beds don't ever move like that. So he's probably pretty tired. Well, let's let him sleep. And then I'll look back to Els and Lee. What's on our agenda?
Uh, well, it we don't really have one. We said we would be contacted. Well, we don't have the specific next steps. We said we would be contacted by
Yeah,
uh, that that voice,
I mean,
but we got some time. I do have a lead that I wanted to chase down uh, for my own affairs. But I wouldn't mind company.
where to? Not the library again, is it?
No, I need it. It is a fellow in House Fjarland. Name is Jorwin Duskmantle. They apparently checked out the book. Would you believe it? There is a book on my staff,
Yeah.
and he checked it. He has it checked out. He has not returned it in a couple of years. So I'm going to talk to him and collect the book.
Are there pictures?
Yes, at least diagrams.
Oh, like what? Like bar graphs? I I don't really read.
They're more like pie charts, very elaborate pie charts.
I see. I see. Um, uh, I mean, I'll go with you. Sure, why not? we could all pay this stranger a visit, huh?
Yeah, we might want to go talk to Professor Borath at some point too.
Yeah, we need to figure out when we're gonna get our stuff. I figured that
Yeah,
would
well, he
be
didn't mention
happening
anything
soon.
about inevitables.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
was that
remember that.
inevitable that he was going to tell us?
Yeah, well,
Let us
clearly,
find
well,
out for ourselves.
inevitable something.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of an important detail left out of the conversation we had.
I mean, it was
Just a
not
little
mentioned.
bit.
It wasn't mentioned by the shepherds either.
Yeah.
What's memorable? I was really paying attention. I was talking to Ben.
Don't worry, we're hoping you're its kryptonite.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we probably
But
don't have enough to
who's doing
report.
what?
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, we're
what,
like
do you know where to go for this guy?
I mean, I know the building. It's like House P Island, right?
So yeah, House Ireland is more of a family. You know that he
Or
works at the domain of Speechcraft.
yes, yeah.
You don't have an address per se, but you could figure out where that is.
Yeah. If anything, he'd ask Tick.
Right.
Tick might know.
Yeah, she might know.
Where did we get the feather tokens?
Uh,
Barath gave it to us when we
right.
first. It was
Okay.
our welcome to Sharn gift basket.
Okay, gotcha. All right. It was Barath's gift. So we
Probably.
might need to
Yeah.
replenish those. If I was to try to fly off the top, would that have activated the token? Would my flight be knocked down?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, so what would have happened is if you had tried to fly off the top of the building, you would have triggered the Earthbind effect
Okay.
around the building. And so you actually probably would have floated to the ground anyway. So it would have been sort of similar to a feather fall.
Yeah.
But, you might have been able to fight off the effect,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it wasn't mentioned at the time. So I assumed you just
No,
jumped
that's
with
fine.
it.
Yeah. I,
Maybe if you had a feather token, you could have saved it.
Right. You also can buy feather tokens on the street for 50 gold.
right. Yes, we,
So,
we
Yeah.
we have encountered
although
fake ones.
right. Oh,
Right.
that's the only risk is sometimes people sell fake ones or used ones that they pretend still work. Because the only way to figure out for real if it still works is, in your case, detect magic would pick it up. The other one is to jump off something and see if it kicks in.
Yeah.
And then it's used up. If it was good, you really can't test them in that way.
You want to pick some up?
I would probably think it'd be a good idea.
Hmm. Maybe let's do that because you could detect magic, right?
Yeah.
Even detect magic can be fooled. Like Nistel's
Yeah.
magic aura can be cast on a token to make it look magical.
I mean, you could just cast prestidigitation on it for a while and it'll come out as magic.
I don't know if that's the same school though.
I forget what prestidigitation is. It might, I mean, Featherfall, I'm pretty sure is transmutation.
I don't think. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, prestidigitation might be conjuration.
It's that or
But
evocation. Could be
right.
evocation.
It's a little bit of everything. Wish is conjuration, and I think of prestidigitation as least wish because it could do
Make
so many different
make
things.
make fireworks. Make this food taste a little better.
Right.
It's the wishes it was a wish.
Um,
Right. It is extremely limited wish.
I would go to assuming we have Lee to help out and confirm at least. as best as we can. I'll buy a couple myself.
Okay, I mean they're common enough to find, so it wouldn't, it doesn't really require any checks to find feather tokens in Sharn.
50
Well, what about
apiece, you
it?
said?
I mean, what about from a reputable source? Does that
I mean,
require?
so right. No,
Yeah, I
I
guess
mean,
I
right.
could
So
go
if
back
you're
to our new
if you
friend, if that's not too far.
so if you mean the guy at Tavik's Market, that's actually pretty far from where
I
you
can
are.
remember that being,
It is way on the other side of Sharn, and you've got to cross over, either cross all the way around the outer rim or find a way over to the Central Plateau or the Memphis Plateau.
I'm not going to make that kind of a trip.
Yeah, but I mean, you can find there are markets near in Underlook, and otherwise around you. But like I said, these are very common items. So if you just find like a fixed store, as opposed to some guy in an alley who's selling feather tokens, the ones in the alley though they can be cheaper. You can save some money.
Yes, let me
That's
buy
fine.
the discount parachute, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually because they're stolen, not necessarily because they're fakes. But so 50 gold is like the full price on buying it from an actual store.
I'll just mark off 100 gold.
That's fine.
Um,
You also see in this shop there's like the normal common magic items, the dread helm, the cape of billowing, the sword cane.
Is there a wand of smiles?
There is a wand of smiles.
Don't let Pebble get the wand of smiles or see it.
So yeah, anybody who wants to buy them, they have more than enough. Where are you off to after that?
Hmm.
Oh, did we split up again? Or is
Sounded
there
to me like you were staying relatively together, but
okay.
it's up to you whether you're splitting up.
So could we make a trip to one on the way to the other relatively easy?
So other than to the domain of Speechcraft, where were you going? Back to talk to Bareth or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think breath, right? So we'd like to check in on the status of these papers and whatnot.
Maybe also ask about this immemorable.
Yeah. I'd say, hey, what the hell, man? We weren't told about that.
Sorry, just looking for something. So Tick knows that you can find House Fjarlin is in Death's Gate and Middle Tavik's Landing, which is where a lot of the theaters are. So that's where you would have to go for that. That's not too far away from the Memphis Plateau. Um, you know, it's not necessarily faster to go to one or the other, though. They're roughly in the same path, in the same general direction from where you are.
I say. So
I mean, technically, assuming you're going there and coming back, technically it would be a little faster to get to uh, Professor Barrett's office first.
and it might be a shorter visit, technically, than trying to convince a stranger to part with some old library books.
That is true. Oh.
And if Lee skims the paper, he'll see that Professor Barath was apparently asked about Pebble.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'd be going to be delighted to see us.
When they say asks, they would have sent a message through their tube system and gotten a no in return.
I mean, so he does come to and from his office. And so apparently at some point they did get to ask him directly about his association with Pebble. And the newspaper report says that a stream of expletives followed.
Right.
Definitely going to go see him.
Yeah, we might need to beat some freaking.
We have to beat off a whole bunch of reporters. Well,
Yeah,
so
get
be
them out
it.
of there.
Whatever makes a story.
There's no great way to say that anymore, you know?
So
So,
you may make your
yeah.
way back to Morgrave University and up to the tower where the academics have their offices. The receptionist, this time you don't see Ralpartha there waiting, but the receptionist sends a message up to Bareth. And initially there's no response. It takes about 10 minutes before there's a response, but it says that you can go up. So you make your way back to his office.
Yep.
And as you go in, he has his arms folded and is staring at you, shaking his head.
Hmm.
That's like, what the hell, man? Inevitables? The hell's that?
That doesn't always happen. It does
Uh,
happen often enough.
Oh, okay.
What a way to respond.
Wow. I mean,
But before we get to that, what the hell happened last night?
what do you mean?
I guess I didn't specifically tell you that you should keep a low profile,
Or
but I thought it was obvious that you should keep a low profile.
yes,
you have
obvious.
met all of
You
the
are
members of this
correct.
party.
Absolutely. Yes, as I nod over at Pebble. Yes, a low profile. Yep.
They think he's some sort of royalty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, we saw them this morning. I ran them off. Not before a slew of things came out of Pebble's mouth. But
I suppose
Pebble
this
is
will
currently staring at the skull.
I suppose this will at least blow over. People will get tired of this story soon enough. But at the
yeah,
moment, it's reading a little bit like an adventure story, and I think that's going to entertain people for at least a couple of days. I'm not exactly sure, Pebble, why you decided to tell them about your little adventure with the crown. And in one news report, I saw something about your monastery. All you really had to say, if anything, was that you hit the guy because he had grabbed Heloise Truden. The more boring you make your story, the less likely they are to want details.
Yeah, but I was trying to make friends.
Lee
yeah,
sits
he's
down,
trying to
makes
make
himself
friends.
comfortable. This is gonna be an interesting conversation. Sit down, relax.
Just picked up that his cup of whatever
Yep.
he's drinking.
Yep. Give a little sip of that. Go ahead, Prof. Let's see what you got.
But you asked about the inevitables. They are, until recently, not known to interfere with the flow of time. But now that chronomancy has been discovered in the future, it seems as if they don't like the fact that some people are messing around with the flow of time, which is odd because we're trying to prevent a catastrophe. But yes, normally they send out things that follow you around They may attack you, they may not. They may simply observe.
I look at
The,
Pebble for a second.
the
Checking
more
out his
you
baggage.
interfere with the flow of time as they see it, the more likely they are to take aggressive action against you. Best to avoid them as a result. Some of them are truly immortal and cannot be killed. Most of them can be dispatched in the normal way. I don't think it kills them. I think it sends them back to their home plane. Though eventually, one might say inevitably, another one will find you. Why they record the flow of what it is we do, I don't know. But so far, I wouldn't imagine you've done much of anything that would draw their attention. I
No,
expect they'll keep their distance.
no,
The more prominent you make yourself, the more you do things that are noteworthy or heroic, and he looks at Pebble, the more likely they are to become aggressive.
would you say it is inevitable?
He looks at Pebble, maybe in this case.
So how come have they come for you?
I am versed enough in magic to know how to ward myself against them and make myself non-detectable.
Okay.
The Watchman's Rest is also warded so that they wouldn't be able to sense you while you're in there. I
Oh, we
have been
got.
found by them before, and they're always aggressive with me, so I take greater precautions than most need to. I think they've figured out that I am sort of the locus of activity of time travelers, at least on our side of things. I don't know about Kelvin Atramov and whether or not he's being pursued. I haven't heard anything to that effect, but I imagine his agents have similar problems.
And their own workarounds that are similar enough to ours, probably.
Inevitables aren't especially fast. They're slower than a lightning rail, slower than an airship. So normally one of them will be assigned to you at a time. If you travel quickly, they won't be able to keep up. They will travel overland, plodding along to wherever you are. If you're not properly warded, it seems as though they can unerringly find you, but it can take them quite a long time. If you travel by elemental galleon to another continent, I honestly don't know how they get from one continent to another, but my understanding is that they can.
Hmm.
That, of course, would take them months, if not years, depending on how far you go.
When you say assigned, it sounds like there's some controlling agency.
I don't know that there is a particular leader that assigns the inevitables to someone, but they all take the form of clockwork beings,
See.
suggesting they're from the plane of law.
Hmm.
Comes straight out of the MCU.
Well,
They may have a hive mind for all I know, but they each one does seem to be specifically targeted to a particular group of temporal agents.
does it ever change?
I've never known one to be reassigned, but a lot of them, at least there seem to be different categories of inevitables. And as far as I can tell, they're physically identical to one another. So if one were reassigned, I'm not sure I could tell.
Gotcha.
I've never known an inevitable to simply give up the chase. But since they mostly observe, we mostly don't worry about them. If I sent you off to on some mission that I thought would attract their ire, I certainly would provide you with a little more aid in throwing them off your trail.
We appreciate that. How are the papers coming along?
They're still in process. It will take a few days to get your papers in order.
All right.
The actual basic documents should be done in a day or two. Planting evidence in far off locations will take a little bit longer.
What about the
Messages have
lodging?
been sent. Oh, that you will need to have identification papers before I can even arrange the lodging. And then
Gotcha.
I'll need to ward that lodging against the inevitables.
Right. Okay.
So what was
But
up
I
with
would,
that voice that was in our head the other day?
Yeah.
what voice was in your heads the other day?
Yeah. We could tell about this. I think we were.
I like how
This
Valderin
last
just says
night.
that right in front of.
I'm gonna need another drink. Yeah. Go ahead,
So,
Calder. Let him know. All right, go ahead.
yeah. So you've read the newspaper. It sounds exciting. That was nothing. Okay. That was just a precursor
Oh
to the
yeah,
He,
rest of the
he
night.
begins to scowl.
That was just outside Halloween Trude's tower, as you might have surmised from the contents of that letter, of, of that newspaper. We
What else happened?
we got inside through various methods of just really wearing down the front desk, mostly. We
because
got
we
inside.
in that because we also have our inevitable. I look at Pebble.
Yeah, and I Pebble's pretty good at it. He's just always at it. I can turn it on and off as needed. We got inside. Let's just say that we got inside and we got to the front door of Heloise Troon's apartment. But we were definitely triggering alarms. But we got real close. But while just before we escaped, there was a voice in our heads. Someone from the inside sounded like seemed to recognize roughly what our intent was. Uh, said that they were investigating Heloise Troon themselves.
Huh. I mean, there's nothing in the paper about Pebble being invited inside. I would think that detail would have been of interest to the reporters.
Yeah, well, yeah, the reporters I think were about done at that point. All the commotion was on the inside at first. We don't know if any external guards were called in or not. We left rapidly.
Not even anything about the alarms.
Yeah,
So
I
at
don't.
least that portion of your evening's adventure doesn't seem to have been in the press.
Yeah, but I as long as the guards aren't going to try looking for us,
So what did this voice want? Just to reveal that he is also investigating Hillary Eastern?
and that they would reach out, right? If is that what it is? I don't remember anymore. I don't remember.
He did say he would find you to see
Yeah,
if you can help one another.
yeah, they said they would find us. Um, that seems to be an easy thing to do right now.
Okay, I suppose that could be it. Could this be some trick of Heloise Troon? I don't know why she would. Maybe she was just trying to get you to leave the front door.
Well, she wasn't there. She left.
But it must have been, you said it was somebody inside,
Yeah,
one of her
that's definitely true.
servants.
They said that they had infiltrated her by becoming one of the servants.
Yeah, but It was all in our head, so we don't how we know what whoever the voice was. Could be anywhere, anyone.
Right.
It was someone with authority, that's for sure. Wherever
Well,
it came from.
There is a note in the paper that the lift broke. Just one line. Maintenance problems at the Oak Towers.
yeah, yeah, that happened. We
There was an angry wind monster. I made
And
it
you
sick.
mean and and air elemental, you mean?
Yep.
In what this was in the Oak Towers?
Yeah, whenever the lift was broken.
That's that's more than a malfunction of the lift. That requires somebody to actively release the bound elemental.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily something that can be done by accident. It sounds as if it really was as eventful as you claim, perhaps more eventful than your version of the story suggests. That should be bigger news.
yeah.
But again,
Well,
all it says is that maintenance is required on the building.
they also did say that they were probably going to be able to cover things up. So
Now it seems the voice in your head was correct about that much. I suppose keeping Troon's private security quiet is easy enough for Troon. I don't know about who on the inside might be investigating Troon and whether or not they would have the pull to keep the servants quiet. I guess if they want to keep their jobs, it must be somebody who could threaten them, possibly someone powerful enough to be frightening or intimidating.
yeah, powerful enough to speak to all of us in our heads from the other side of a door.
They also
Yeah,
said she
that
was
could be.
someone else, which I didn't get. Because how can you be someone else?
What did she say?
So the voice did say that Heloise Troon is not what she appears to be.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
that
Well,
is Pebble's interpretation.
it's
And Bareth at this point has just begun ignoring Pebble.
Probably for the best.
Like what Pebble said makes no sense to him, but
yeah.
he assumes it just makes no sense.
Well, we're
If
gonna
you're contacted, I guess that might be a useful avenue to pursue.
at least get a little more detail as to who the hell it is. In the meantime, I guess we're gonna go pay your stranger a visit there, Elson. Have you heard of this guy? What's this guy's name?
Jorman Duskmantle is his name.
I just know that he has checked out the book that I'm interested in. I don't know if I know much beyond that. But it's at least worth collecting an overview library book.
That name isn't familiar to you there, Professor?
No, I'm sorry, I've never heard of anyone named Duskmantle. It sounds potentially half elven, though you never know. Is he an academic?
I
Or historian, maybe?
probably more of a historian. It was not clear. He is part of House Fjarland,
That's
uh,
Harlan.
and resides in the domain of speechcraft.
Ah, so Not necessarily an academic in the traditional sense, probably more like a teacher of rhetoric, something like that, teacher of literature or playwriting, possibly recitation. Well, I have other work to do, so thank you for coming by. I will reach out to you in a couple of days when I have your papers, possibly by tomorrow, maybe the day after.
Appreciate it.
And you make your way out and over to Death's Gate, eventually finding an outpost of House Fjarlad, above which you could see the sign, the domain of speechcraft. Going inside, you can see it is actually very busy. In one corner, there are just people rehearsing lines of a play. There are people who are also singing and people who are reciting oratories, all of whom do appear to be like about students' age. Almost all of them are elves. Uh, you also notice there's a bunch of people like crowded around a message board looking at the messages there. There's one guy who's there who's very loudly complaining about House Thorani. You notice on the message board there is a warning that says that everyone should be on the lookout because the Shebop Circus may be appearing somewhere in the vicinity of Sharn soon, and that to the extent that there's any reported sightings of anything related to that, that it should be reported back to House Fjarlin immediately, that they cannot be allowed to operate, and that they've tolerated this minor house long enough. But you eventually find Professor Duskmantle, who is not really seated, is really sort of standing in front of a bookshelf, has a book open in his hands. He's a half elf, somewhat elderly. In human terms, probably in his like late 60s. His hair is graying and he's got a bit of a goatee going, which makes him stand out amongst the elves who don't generally have any facial hair whatsoever. And says, "Well, hello, can I help you?"
Ah, yes, you certainly can. We're here, well, we're here from Margaret University. There is a book that you've is checked out under you that hasn't been returned in a couple of years.
I cross my arms.
Well, there are probably several books from Morgrave University. You're here to collect the fines, I assume?
And the books.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not prepared to return the books at this time.
Uh, well,
They're
I
terribly important, you understand.
is
Talon Weir was one of the great poets, and while I may flatter myself, I think I may be the preeminent scholar in Talon Weir's poetry. So if you will give me but a few weeks, I will have my own copies of these books prepared, and then I'll return the originals to the library. Thank you for coming. I will also pay the fines at that time when I return the books.
I also have an interest in Talonware.
Oh,
Or yes, I'm particularly interested in there is a title called Hysteria's Angus.
I know the name. I'm not aware of any particular work by that name. What is your interest in Talonware? I thought you to be a common library goon, sent to collect monies, filthy lucre, for my use of their books.
You, sir, are quite you are quite mistaken. The library does not hire goons. That is for
Uh, you,
the city rabble to do.
you, sir, are quite mistaken. Many goons have come to collect books for me over the years. Morgrave University guards its library quite fastidiously.
Does
They
that
may
make
not
them
call
goons?
themselves goons, but they are here to extract monies nonetheless.
No, we are
What if
here.
we don't give a shit about the money?
Yeah, we're here to extract books, not cash.
Well, I
My,
still would prefer to keep my copies of the books for the moment. I haven't had a chance to copy everything I've taken from the Morgrave University collection. But if
how
you have
long have you
some,
had them?
depends on the book, but probably several years. It
What
usually
the
takes
fuck is taking
Morgrave
so long?
because books are references. You
No,
go
you're
back
just
to
fucking
books
slow.
again. If you say so,
It
I
would be
refer
slower
to
if your arm
this.
is broken now, wouldn't it, Aldrin?
That's true.
You
Yeah.
are in the middle of an enclave of elves. You wouldn't get very far if you started attacking people.
Far enough.
No, there's no need for violence.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
Oh,
So, Lee, make me an intimidation check.
I was getting ready to roll my regular dice. No. Uh, intimidation. I don't have any of that.
I do.
16. I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, there's no need for violence. I'm sure we can work out some accommodations. Which books are you looking for? Is there some particular information I can help you find? As I said, I am perhaps the expert on Talonweir. And if your interest is in Historius Anguis, I also have quite an interest in that. I'm sure I can provide whatever information you need. If it was in Talonweir's writings, I probably know it.
I am looking for more information on that particular title.
So there is no book entitled Historius Anguis.
It is pieced together through across Talonweir's writings, though. It seems to have been a great subject of his.
Yes. What do you know of Talonweir?
I am afraid I know very little, but let's say I have an interest in the subject.
Talonweir's interest in Historius Anguis was, well, I suppose to start at the very basics, Talonweir was, as I said, one of the greatest of the orc poets. Talonweir lived many, many thousands of years ago at the time of the Dalkir War. She herself wielded Historius Anguis, which is a rod of obsidian that usually glows with a red or bluish light. It depends on certain rituals that are done with the rod itself. Um, she used the rod in some way that is spoken of poetically, and so is a little bit unclear as to in terms of its historical content, to help to banish the Dalkir at the end of the Dalkir War. So she did write of Historius Anguis. She generally referred to it as the Twin Coils. There is a large epic poem referred to as the Twin Coils, which I think is one of her greatest works. Uh, I could certainly share that with you. Then there's also, of course, the gatekeeper traditions of Talonweir. They have a very long liturgy, in fact, that references Historius Anguis and the Twin Coils. The Litany of the Twin Coils, in fact, it's called.
The gatekeeper traditions. Is that like is that are those like a series of rituals or
No, it is a essentially a recitation. A leader will recite one line, and the chorus of believers will recite a response to the line.
it sounds
But
like
it
a
it in its own way is a ritual, but I believe it to be more of a religious ceremony, a bit like a mutual benediction being spoken back and forth between a congregation and its leader. If you're interested in rituals, though, I have other books on Talonweir that do talk about rituals. They're a little obscure, but uh, I think they'd probably be readable to an interested lay person. Mostly, though, I would say they probably wouldn't be of interest because you have to have actual possession of Historia Sanguis in order to make sense of them. Also, some of the terminology is, I suppose, a little abstruse and so requires some interpretation, some understanding of other texts, of other poetic traditions, particularly among the orcs of the time. But if you're
Okay.
interested in the rituals, I can certainly provide you with those works.
Well, yes, I would be interested in those. Even if
Well,
I,
it's a pleasure to meet someone with such an interest in Talonweir. She's largely forgotten, but one of the greats in my opinion.
now, I did manage to run across some of her works at Morgrave University, and they were quite moving.
His eyes go wide. They have they have more works by Talonweir at Morgrave University that I haven't checked out yet.
They do.
Well,
They
let me
just
see if I can find you those books. I have to get over to the library very quickly. And he takes you into a different room that is, filled with books. Probably the master library for this domain of speechcraft that House Fjarlin runs. And he sort of chit chats about how, House Fjarlin is the house of entertainers officially. And that's certainly like what you would know them as. House Fjarlin in the future mostly operates like a house of bards. Their dragon mark, the mark of shadow, tends to be more about concealment. And so not especially useful in the context of entertaining. They sometimes find ways to put it to use. The lore is that back in these days, a lot of them were assassins. They used their marks in the way of stealth. So spies and assassins, a lot of them. But by the time of Shosharn, there wasn't as much use for that. At least that's the official story. They definitely did operate a lot of theaters. And it seems from what he's saying as though they continue to operate theaters to this day. You don't know anything about, there was a reference to House Thorani. You really don't know anything about House Thorani. They weren't much of a thing in the future. But he continues to dig, eventually producing several books for you to read. Uh, it's going to take some time to read through them. Not everything in there is going to be directly related to Hastorius Aguis or of use to you, but after you read through it, you'll be able to pick up uh, the parts that would be of more interest to you, including a series of rituals. So between there's like a first part that's the twin coils, then I sort of summarize the rituals after that, and then there's the litany of the twin coils as at the end, which he also mentioned. So there is some reading for Dustin slash Elzen to do.
Oh yeah.
Mostly, I think you'll be interested in the rituals in the middle, as those are the things that will let you unlock further things. There's two rituals that you find. You don't find any more, but they appear to be the path of Eberron and the path of Kyber.
Kurt, I sent you a message.
I did not see.
It was in Zoom.
I still do not see a message in Zoom. The last thing I see is a message from Lee at 11:46.
Is there not like a new tab at the top?
Maybe, but they keep changing it. Oh, I see. Pebble. Yes. Got it. So I would say Sure, why not? Maybe there is a sect, like not orcs necessarily, but like an offshoot, including like some half orcs. Maybe there are some orcs left who are living there.
You're muted if
You're,
you're.
now you're muted. Now we can't hear you.
There were also dwarves associated with the gatekeepers, particularly the ones that would bind themselves to symbiotes.
Mhm.
So maybe there was some dwarven t traditions that were exchanged. I'm thinking. I thought it might be a cool little interesting thing.
Yeah. I like the thought that, the gatekeepers might have continued to exist even after the bite. So as like a religion, it could be fairly well known even to Pebble, although I don't think he would understand a lot of the details or the history. Uh, he almost certainly wouldn't know anything about the twin coils or
No.
Asterius Anguis. He couldn't even pronounce them.
But when hears gatekeepers, he's like, I know those guys. I've heard stories about them.
Many people have, although it is getting increasingly rare as history is often neglected, even among the studies of university students these days. It's a pleasure to meet people who have an interest in the great poets and history. It's unfortunate that we must keep company with, he looks at Lee, people who aren't as into history. But if you have any questions about these books, I'd be happy to sit down and discuss them with you. I have studied them quite extensively. I don't know specifically what information you're looking for, but if any of the terminology or references seem obscure, I'm sure I can help shed some light on them. In the meantime, there are apparently books on Talonweir I haven't checked out yet.
Yes. You better get at them before somebody else checks them out.
Well, feel free to use this library room. I'm sure someone will eventually come and usher you out because, well, none of you are elves. They don't tend to appreciate non-elves in House Fjarlan, not poking around their buildings anyway. But I must be off. For the next few hours, I'll be at the Margrave University Library if you should need me. Bye. And he runs out the door.
Well, I think you got this. I don't think we need to be here. Because if we're here, we're more likely to draw their attention to kick you out sooner.
Yes.
We
I
should
think there's
leave.
no
We,
need for you to sit here and watch me read.
yeah, agreed?
Yeah, I'll meet up with you. Uh, where should I meet up with you? Should I meet up with you back at the?
I should be clear. He was willing to let you take the books. Lee intimidated him into giving up his claim on these books.
Oh, well, we can
Should we grab them? Yeah,
we can
somebody got a
I
bag?
can study these later. Study these later.
Yeah, I mean, like you probably could spend, you know, just to read them through once a couple days, just reading through these three books that he's given you. Um, but you'll have to like go back and reread things here and there and figure out which are the important bits. I've only shared the important bits with you in the handout, obviously, rather than give you 3 actual days of reading.
Yeah.
There I would need ChatGPT to be like, hey, ChatGPT, write me 50,000 words.
I can tell you it would not be a fun read based off of how that tends to be. Uh,
But you make your way back out of House Fjarlan, or at least their school that they refer to as a domain.
Right.
And that's where we can wrap it up. I noticed that Dustin is quite tired.
I was trying to hang in there. Was doing my best.
You muted? Did you mute yourself? I'm
Not
thinking
me.
Mike was talking. Okay. All right.
Oh no, I wasn't talking.
Okay.
That
Looked like
that's
it
how
for
Actually, I
just a
Joker's
guess
second.
not.
before we officially wrap up, there is one other thing. When you get back to the Watchman's Rest, there is a message waiting there for you that says that you are all cordially invited to dine with Heloise Troon and several elected guests in celebration and honor of her savior, Pebble.
Had we just waited, we
I
wouldn't have had to
Mm.
fight our way in.
I don't
So
think that's
the
it. But
it'd be, the night after this one, so essentially a day and a half from now in the evening
I don't like it
at
at all.
Heloise Troon's apartment.
I don't like it at all.
I mean,
I
you
don't
don't
want to do it.
necessarily have to go.
I don't want to
Yes,
do it.
we do. It's a chance to
No,
make a new friend.
no, I don't know if we want her to be our
Plus, it's
friend.
free food. You can't turn down free food.
That is pretty tough. We'll think about it. We'll think about it.
Mm.
That changes Thaldern's tune. And
It's
imagine someone of her wealth, the
it's
food is
okay.
gonna be
It's okay if it's a trap because we already suspect a trap, right? So then we can prepare for things.
I mean, you could keep an eye on the newspapers or talk to Sabius Vereen and see if you could learn more about this invitation.
It could have been proffered by the. It could have been proffered by the thing that tried to help us.
I know.
Secret insider.
Who could also still be trying to trap us
Correct.
in a weird way because they could have just killed us probably.
well, if they were not lying,
Shit,
they,
could we
they,
do a
they
can we do
Yeah,
a retroactive insight check on this fucking voice in our heads?
yeah, I would
Were
say
they
you
just
can.
bluffing?
You don't, you don't think they were lying. In fact,
Okay.
I was kind of excited at the possibility that I would finally get to use Leomund's tiny hut as a defensive structure.
As a DM.
Yeah, so they could just shoot you while you try to break in.
Yeah.
Thanks for running.
right. Yeah, thanks. It's fun.
No.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good
What?
night.
Bye bye.